The people of Uganda, greetings. I congratulate all the Ugandans on finishing the year 2020. However, before I give the highlights and the challenges of 2020, I want to comment on one sad incident where the other day we lost a young person in his 40s. I didn't know him, but apparently he was doing good work in the Kawempe area. This was a young man called Zebra Senyange, whom I didn't know, but apparently he was supposed to meet me in the next few days. They had even organized for COVID tests. He was supposed to come and see me with other people. Then we had this unfortunate incident. I'm still investigating the exact elements that caused this tragedy. But the background to all this is that because of the indiscipline and criminality of some of the opposition groups, which resulted in the serious riots and violence of the other month, I deployed highly trained units from our army who had been doing much of the fighting in areas like Somalia, fighting ADF into the Kampala area. This is because of the weakness and corruption of some of the police elements, which had allowed Kampala to have no-go areas. These units started operating in Kampala around the 20th of November. And they were able to deal with some hardcore criminals in all these areas. For instance, on the 20th of November, in Makere Kivuru, also known as Kagugube, there was a hardcore criminal called Semanda Joshua, who attacked these security forces with hammer, and they shot him dead. They killed him. Apparently, that was a very notorious criminal in that area. Then on the 24th of November, the same units operated along Nachivovo Channel, which had also become a no-go area for the police and the authorities. And there was a hardcore criminal there who tried to attack them, called Serunjuj Alex. He was killed, and then a number of hardcore criminals were arrested. I have the list here. And when they are arrested, many of them cooperate with the security forces. Like, for instance, Mwanya Robert, Agara, Sentongo Muhammad, Kitone Alan, Tukwasiwe Aaron, Katongore Richard, Kasuri Emmanuel, and so on. These are all available, and I would direct the security forces to show them to you, to the public. Now they are helping the security forces. Then others were released. These included Mabanja, Ainomwe Sugwa, Keyune, Demirire, Kabega, San Hilare, Twinamatsko, Kabanda, Waswa, Kamya Kabenge, and so on. And then those taken to court included Muchibi, Kayaka Sara, Damurira, Josephine Nwamanya, Naiga, Nantumbe Carol, Samokora Suman, etc. So this operation against people who were misled by really two actors. Number one, the police. The police being corrupt, being weak, not responding to the cries of the people. So this led the criminals to think that they are untouchable, that they have to, even after some of the young people who come to whom I talked to, like I had groups at Raiktura recently, from these ghetto groups, they seem to be saying that for them to work for peace, it is a favor to the government. When they come to me, they want money so that they stop doing crime. Then I was telling them that you people, you are not, you are obliged to keep the law. It's not a favor for you to keep the law. It is a duty. But because of the weakness of the police, some of these people had lost balance, and they think that working for peace is something the government should pay for. If you don't pay us, we shall cause chaos. And like the young people I was meeting in Raiktura, they were telling me how they had plans to ban, their leaders, their criminal leaders, had given them plans to ban Kampala, to cause chaos. And I told them, I said, you can't do this. You cannot ban Kampala. If you ban Kampala, if you try, forget, you will not succeed, but if you try, you will perish. So it is that background that caused these units, which have nothing to do with the civilian matters, to come into Kampala. Now, on account of that background, information was received that this unfortunate young person, Zebra, was training boxers who then would be used by some people to attack civilians. Now, later on, when I checked, of course, I didn't know anything about this until the person died. That's when I started inquiring. Now, when I inquired, I found that actually Zebra was doing quite a good job in the Kawempe area. First of all, he was an NRM supporter. That's what I came to find out. And that's why he was planning to come and see me in the next few days together with others. But besides, he had been doing a good job in training the youth in the ghetto to live useful lives. I, however, got some information about how some of the youth trained by him were involved in the controversy, apparently, which is going on around a taxi park in that area between different groups. That was the only indication that people trained by him or under his control were involved in some local controversies. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. We normally get information, some of which is accurate, some of which is not accurate. The correct thing is to find out. And that's what these security people had gone to do, to take in Zebra and ask him some questions. They are operating quietly in these areas to be effective. Now, when they, unfortunately, I think that's where the unfortunate thing happened. When they got to the house at around 12, at 3 minutes past midnight, they knocked and they wanted people inside to open for them, but the people did not open. According to the wife, Mukankuchi, the one I talked to yesterday, actually Zebra was in the sitting room, but instead of opening, he went behind the house. When the wife came, she's the one who opened for, she heard the soldiers trying to break into the house because they broke the glass, I think. Then she heard that she was somewhere, she was dealing with her chicken. Now, when she came, according to what she told me, she's the one who opened for them, for the soldiers. They entered, but Zebra had gone. And apparently, he climbed over the fence and went somewhere, some distance away. Meanwhile, the wife and the son cooperated with the security forces and there was no problem. Now, these security forces were in a number of groups. Some were here in the house, but others were around, like a military operation, because they are used to that type of operation. So now he goes and bumps into the other people who are far away, and that's where there is some controversy which I want to conclude. The soldiers involved say When they stopped him, he refused to stop and tried to fight with them. But we shall get the details of that. And that's how he was shot twice and he died. But we shall get more details. Initially, I didn't know. These were security. Yesterday when I was talking to the wife, I thought actually that it was the criminals who would have killed him. But the wife told me that they had a police uniform. And I said, but sometimes the criminals, especially those who are sponsored by some of the external forces, can steal police uniform and pretend to be police when they are not. And that's why I really, for almost 12 hours, I was checking until later on, the security forces knew that I was involved, and then they informed me, and that's how I came to know that it was our own people who were involved. I'm very sorry about this. I've already talked to the wife and the son, and I'm going to investigate the whole situation, and I will inform the family and maybe the country later. However, this is all due to the reckless actions of the opposition groups, because wherever I go, they talk of intimidation. People are crying that they are being intimidated by the opposition elements. The other day I was in Mawokota, and the Honorable Nakawuchi was crying about intimidation by the group belonging to NUP, that they were threatening people that if they don't vote for them, they will kill them. Well, I told Nakawuchi that that will not happen, and I would like to get details of those who are doing that, and we shall deal with them. The other day I was in Rakai, it was the same story. I therefore would like to advise the opposition, especially those who are fond of this, these particular groups, that this will not work, for them especially. Nobody should intimidate the people of Uganda. If you want, if you have got a point of view, convince the people. Don't intimidate, either by word or by action. We are not going to tolerate it. So these tragedies like this one are caused by that background of recklessness. I thought I should point out this one before I talk about what I wanted to talk about. This year, 2020, is coming to an end. It has been a year of testing countries, not only Uganda, but all countries of the world. Here in Uganda, we had a number of tests, of challenges, to see whether we can manage or not. We started with the floods. The waters of the lakes and the rivers rose up to record levels. In May, the level of the water in Lake Victoria reached 13.49 meters. This is the highest ever in all the recorded history of Uganda. Ever since the British came here and started keeping records, the previous highest level had been in 1964, when the lake was at 13.41 meters. But this time, it went to 13.49. Even today, before I came here, I checked with the engineer who deals with water. He's saying that the water is still at 13.22 meters. This is incredible. It has been at that high level now for almost a year. And yet, at Jinja, they have been releasing water. At one time, they went up to 2,400 cubic meters of water per second. The normal release at Jinja is normally 800 cubic meters per second. But this time, they had to go 2,400 cubic meters per second to make sure that the water in the lake does not swallow the countryside around. Even today, they are still releasing water at 2,000 cubic meters per second, and this has been going on for almost 8 months now. So you can imagine what would have happened if we didn't have this capacity of releasing water at Jinja. In 1964, when they had those floods, the maximum they could release at Jinja was 1,300 cubic meters per second. But this time, we are able to go up to 3,000 cubic meters per second. That's how we were able to control these floods. So, challenge number one were the floods. People were worried that the water could destroy the power stations along the Nile. Then we had the floating islands caused by the high water. Again, relying on our internal means, we were able to scoop out all the floating islands along the Nile. That was challenge number two. Then we had the landslides in the mountain areas. Again, we dealt with those. Then we had the locusts in Karamoja. Because the system in Africa and Arabia has broken down, in the past, the locusts were handled in Yemen and along the Red Sea in Somalia, in Eritrea. However, all these countries, many of these countries are in crisis now. So the locusts are not handled there, because these are desert locusts which lay eggs in the sands of the Red Sea, and then when the eggs, when they hatch, the locusts fly out. In the past, they used to kill the young locusts, which the Wanyankore called Eptotera, kill them near the breeding site. However, now because the governments have collapsed in those areas, in Yemen, there's no government, in Somalia, a lot of problems, so the spraying did not take place. Therefore, the locusts multiplied until they were fully contented that they had multiplied incredibly. And then they came here to East Africa in big swarms. And people were very worried but for us, we were ready, and we killed all the locusts. Then came, so that's challenge number 4. Then came COVID-19. I appealed to you, I say, please, this disease is avoidable. I was here many evenings telling you what to do to avoid the virus. Initially, there was some cooperation. Then, at some stage, some bad-spirited people started distorting our message. We are using Corona to stop the freedom of the people. Fine. So after some time, I say, okay. after resisting for some time, we also told you how to open safely. You can open, but don't be too many in the vehicle. Don't be too many in the room, in the hotel. Don't hold public gatherings. Churches can open, but have a few people there. But some people said, no. That fellow is talking nonsense. So they ignored our advice. And then the infections went up. And the death rates went up. I think the deaths are now 251. This is really, God is, there you are, that the people who have been infected so far are 34,000. The ones who have recovered are 11,000. The ones who have died are 251. This is a miracle, because in other parts of the world, like in the United States, we are talking of almost 400,000 people who have died. There are 300 and something thousand. So this has been a challenge. Now, in the next few days, I will have a meeting with the National Task Force, Health Task Force, to decide on the issue of the vaccine, because there have been some vaccines which have been developed in the United States, and also some in China, and some in Russia. I even hear that Iran has developed a vaccine also. Even here, we are working on a vaccine, but we delayed here. There were some delays because of the wonderful civil servants but also internationally, people think Africa should not have a vaccine of their own. This is what I was told. Because when we were importing some machines, you Africa, what do you need this for? Africans don't need this. We had to answer a question to show why there is a certain machine which is very important in developing your vaccines. Where our people had to answer, why does Africa, why do you import this? Your job is not to make, your job is to use. So how can you get out of order? So they thought I was out of order. Africans to want to make, that is not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to buy and use and be led. But we shall make. Nobody will stop us. We are a bit late, but we are moving. I was told there were 3 lines of vaccine, but 2 are now the ones going forward. We are also working on the area of a cure. Actually, they should have started the trials on the 15th of December. I was ready, but now there were some other questions, some delay, which when I checked, they were good questions asked by the Higher Council of Science, but they're about to start the trials. They are telling me that the thing works when they try it informally, but want to do it now formally. So they think that they say, and the people who say are people who know what they are talking about, that the cure works. But let's try it using the protocol of science, the procedures of science, and we see how to. This has been the year of challenges. But all the same, Uganda has managed, because by the end of this year, the economy of Uganda will be 39, almost $40 billion by the foreign exchange method. If you use the PPP method, it will be $107 billion. And that's why we are telling you that we are about to enter the middle income category. All this is happening. The rate of growth in the year 2018-2019 was 6.8%. And this year would have been about 6 or 7% if it was not for this corona. The economy is now recovering. Last year, because of the corona, 2019-2020, it grew by 2.9%. This time it will go by 3.1%. But what is interesting is that people who are not Ugandans somehow understand things about Uganda better than the Ugandans. There is this group known as Bloomberg. Bloomberg, there you are. Bloomberg is a privately held financial software data media company headquartered in New York. Now, recently, it was ranking the rate of growth of countries in the world. You bring the world one, not this African one only. This is the world one. The one of the world. You didn't put it? The world one is here. If you take the whole world, the fastest growing country for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They are there, but the letters are not very clear. The fastest is Bangladesh, then followed by Ethiopia, then Vietnam, that's number 3, China, that's number 4, Uganda is number 5. In the whole world, there you are. Then followed by Ivory Coast, Egypt, Ghana, Rwanda, Kenya. So, in spite of the challenges, we have done very well. But as I've been telling you during the campaigns, if we solve a number of issues, there is nothing to stop Uganda. And we are achieving all this before we take advantage of our petroleum and gas. This is all without gas, without petroleum, without gas, without minerals actually. And yet our minerals sector is quite considerable. If you look at the gold, you look at the iron ore, you look at the copper, you look at the marble in Karamoja, you look at the petroleum, it's quite considerable deposits. Big deposits of bauxite in aluminium clays, in Bugweri, in Busoga. So, our potential and our future is very bright. So therefore, now that we are going into the elections in the next 2 weeks, I appeal to all Ugandans to really be patriotic for once. I am getting, in my job here as head of government and head of security services, I get all sorts of information. People who are planning to steal elections, including election officials who are bribed and change results or facilitate people are not supposed to vote or facilitate multiple voting. Then you have the ones who think they will use violence to alter the wishes of the people. They will bring this group, they will bring that group, I don't know from where. Then we have been having the indiscipline of some of the candidates and some of the political actors. I hear that the police has finally acted firmly against some of them. That's what I heard. But I would like to appeal to everybody that please be patriotic. Do not seek to distort the wishes of the people of Uganda. Elections are a periodic medicine. And that's why elections should not be interfered with by anybody. If you do well, the people will vote for you. If you conduct yourself well, you bring good programs, or you perform well if you're in government, people will vote for you again. If they don't vote for you, that's punishment for not doing well. In that way, we make elections a disciplining method for political actors, so that people learn to know that if you are in leadership, you must solve the problems of the people so that they can elect you again. Now, when you bring cheating in the elections, it means you are nullifying the power of the people. Actually, that's what one of the political groups used to say in the past. They used to say, whether you vote for us or not for us, we shall be in power. How will you be in power if we don't vote for you? For them, they were saying that they would be in power by violence, by force. In this case, people are saying we shall be in power by cheating, whether the people vote for us or not. This is subversion of the worst type, because it means you're overthrowing the power of the people. People have no power, because if they can't remove you or block you, when they are not happy with you, then how do they solve their problems? It means that the Constitution has no meaning. So therefore, I want to warn all those involved in this. Do not miscalculate. Do not miscalculate. I am here in two capacities. First of all, I have been elected by my political party and by the people of Uganda repeatedly to look after their affairs. And I cannot allow their affairs to be messed up by criminals. You better note that. I will not allow the affairs of the people of Uganda to be messed up by criminals. and traitors. Because if you cheat the people, you are a traitor. The Banyankole say, you are a useless person, like a child who steals from the mother. Because if you can steal from your mother, what are you for? Your mother is Uganda. You have no right to steal from Uganda. All of you who are involved, please stop, because I know. And I will act. Secondly, I am the head of the Banansuko. The bushfighters, I'm their head. I've been leading them for the last 50 years, since 1971, if you don't include the student years. So we cannot allow the revolution of the people to be destroyed by crooks. So therefore, I appeal to everybody concerned, please, in the remaining weeks, excel in conduct. Don't excel in misbehavior. Try good behavior. I've been campaigning I was campaigning for 2 months. I never held a single rally. Nor did I stand up in the car to wave, to show myself how beautiful I am, how handsome I am. Even when people gather, I just wave them from inside my car, and I come and I talk through the radio. I have not held the right now to talk to you. I'm sure many of you are listening to me. If you have got something to say, why can't you say it in a safe way like I'm now here talking to you? So please, I appeal to you. It is safer for you to behave well in the remaining 2 weeks so that we have got good elections. Don't be tempted to think that you are too clever, because we are here. And we are here with our historical mandate and with the popular mandate, and we shall not tolerate anybody to mess up Uganda. I thank you, and I wish you good luck.